the most perfect vegan cinnamon rolls. Heck, even the best cinnamon rolls. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Britt and I'm the vegan food blogger behind the Banana Diaries. And today we are making the world's best vegan cinnamon rolls. And I really do mean that these are the best cinnamon rolls. I just look at that super soft and plush texture. It's next level. You're never gonna know these cinnamon rolls are dairy-free and eggless, and even the toughest vegan critics out there, aka my family, will absolutely love these. Actually, my family does love them, so they request them every Christmas. That's another story. These cinnamon rolls are super easy to make. There's an overnight option as well if you wanna make them the night before. And yeah, you're just gonna love them. I don't know what else there is to say. They're perfect. Let's get baking them. So to start, we're going to first bloom our yeast. So we're gonna pour our dairy-free milk into our measuring cup here. And we're gonna do about 1 cup and 1/4, excuse me. And all of the ingredient measurements are found down below, linked in the blog post. And now I'm gonna go microwave this really fast because we need it to be at 110 degrees for the yeast to properly bloom. And then we're gonna stir in our sugar and then add in our yeast and then give that a little bit of a rest. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now our dairy-free milk is heated up, and you can use soy milk, oat milk, cashew milk, almond milk, whichever you prefer. And now we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm using Florida crystal sugar because it is organic, which means that it's also vegan. Not all granulated sugars are vegan, just so you know. This one is, so that's why we're using it. I'm gonna add in another tablespoon here. All right, now we're gonna add in our yeast. 2 1/4 teaspoons. Now we're gonna cover this and let this bloom for about 7 to 10 minutes, but while this is resting, we can start whisking together our dry ingredients. I'm gonna be using a kitchen scale because this is the most accurate way for you to measure your dry ingredients. You can use cups, US cups, but I'm gonna be using the metric because sometimes with US cups, you can over measure how much flour you're packing in, and we don't want that, or else you're going to end up with really crumbly and dry cinnamon rolls, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna take my big KitchenAid bowl. You can also make these cinnamon rolls by hand. You don't have to use a stand mixer. I'm gonna show you the stand mixer method, but it's very, very similar, and I described that in the post down below. So go check out that link if you don't have a stand mixer. Don't worry, you can still make these. I'm using bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour, but I find that the best texture is when we use the bread flour because bread flour has a little bit more protein than all-purpose flour, so it helps with like a better structure. We'll set that aside, and now we're gonna add in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Now I'm just gonna give this a nice whisk in the bowl. And then I'm also using salted vegan butter, so that's why I'm omitting the salt in the dough. I found that Miyoko's salted vegan butter tends to be enough salt for the recipe. But if you don't have salted vegan butter, or you have a vegan butter that doesn't have as much salt, you can add in 1/8 teaspoon of sea salt to the flour mixture. Okay, so now we're going to grab our stand mixers and we're going to make the dough. We have our dough attachment attached to our stand mixer, and now we're gonna make the dough. So we're gonna add in our dairy-free yogurt. You can also use unsweetened applesauce. I love the texture that dairy-free yogurt gives cinnamon rolls because there tends to be more fat in dairy-free yogurt. So that makes cinnamon rolls really tender. I'm using Borgia Project unsweetened vanilla, so that vanilla extract, the vanilla bean in it, you can see like there's little spots and flecks of vanilla in it, adds to that vanilla flavor. Then now we're gonna also add in our dairy-free milk mixture here. Just pour that all in. And now we're gonna begin to mix this. We're gonna add our vegan butter in once this becomes sort of a shaggy dough. Much like brioche bread, we add in the vegan butter afterwards. So gonna give this a little bit of a mix. So this is what the shaggy dough looks like. I'm gonna pull this up for you guys. So it is very loose, it's not smooth at all, it's very sticky. So now we're gonna add in our vegan butter. Just plop that in there. We're gonna mix again until it's a nice, smooth, not very tacky dough. The nice thing about the stand mixer is that you're kneading the dough in the bowl, so you don't have to knead it by hand. If you were to make this by hand, this is where you would be kneading it on the surface top and using extra flour too to help you knead. So we're gonna just let this knead for about 5 to 7 minutes. It's a little tacky. Now I like to just lightly flour my hands just to help release the dough a bit from the dough hook. We're just gonna scoop that right off. I'm gonna put it into our lightly greased bowl here and let this rise. I just lightly shape it into a smooth ball here. So you can see this is what its size is right now. We're gonna let this come to double in size. So I'm just gonna cover this and place it in a warm area, at least 85 degrees, and I'll be back when this is doubled in size. But for you, it's the next slide. Our dough has now doubled in size. If you want the little reveal here. Boom, look at that, nice and risen. I like to work on a silicone baking mat because I find that it's just so much easier for cleanup and also to roll the cinnamon rolls. I'm also gonna teach you another trick that I've learned from my friend Kat from the Loopy Whisk about how to slice these cinnamon rolls that's different than the floss method and from the normal using a kitchen knife. So we'll get to that in a second, but I'm gonna just flour this a little bit more. So I find that the silicone baking mat is just a lot easier to work on. Wow, look at how gorgeous this dough is. That's a nice dough. I'm really excited about this, guys. Oh, look at it, it's so squishy, okay. I'm gonna shape this into a rough rectangle here. Boop, boop. And I just lightly spread it with my fingers. And now we're gonna roll this to be 18 inches by 12 inches. A few of you guys are gonna be asking whether you can make these gluten-free. I cannot make this particular gluten-free, but I now have an entirely gluten-free vegan cinnamon roll. I'll link that down below for you. There are two methods. You can either take softened vegan butter and then mix it with our cinnamon sugar mixture here, or if you're in a rush and you also haven't cooled your dough, so that's the best method if you've cooled your dough. So that means after you've risen the dough, you pop it into the fridge for about an hour, and that will help to cool the dough. So that the butter doesn't melt everywhere. But if you don't have time for that, you can also make these overnight too. There's an option for that down below. And you can just brush the vegan butter onto the dough that you've rolled out. I just splattered vegan butter everywhere. Fabulous. So we're just gonna brush this literally to the edges of the dough. And be generous with it too, because that's what's gonna give these that gooey center. And now we're gonna take our cinnamon sugar mixture. So this is just granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. I've whisked that all together. And now we're just gonna sprinkle this on top and try to get it into even layers. So now I'm sure you're ready to learn about this new method that I've learned from the Loopy Whisk. You could just roll this tightly using the baking mat, as I've demonstrated in the blog post. And then what you do is you either take a large kitchen knife, or even better yet, you take a piece of floss, unflavored floss, and then you pull through and scoop and then slice like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but this method is even better. I'm going to measure out 12 cinnamon rolls, about 1.5 inches each. So here at 21, we're gonna mark it right here at 19.5. And then we're gonna mark this one here at 18. So now once we've done that, we have now 12 cinnamon rolls. We're gonna roll each one individually. So I'm gonna make one slice like that. Set down my pizza slicer. You can also use a large kitchen knife. And now we're just going to roll these tightly. And this is how you get a beautifully uniform and not squished cinnamon roll spiral. So check it. Look at how lovely that spiral is. Isn't that perfect? This is gonna be your go-to method. Like, you literally don't do any other method, okay? This is worth it. If you wanna show off these cinnamon rolls at your Christmas brunch, or you have like a get-together breakfast, anything that you wanna show off, hey, these are actually vegan. You'll never know. When I tell you that these cinnamon rolls come out perfect every time, I really do mean it. Like, these cinnamon rolls are perfection. It's the only cinnamon roll recipe that you need. We're going to cover them and let them rise while we preheat our ovens. So these are gonna puff up nice and big. So they're gonna get about double in size, then we're gonna bake them. So we've allowed our cinnamon rolls to rest. They've now doubled in size. They look really, really good. I'm gonna pop these now into the oven to bake for 30 minutes, and then we'll make our icing and enjoy these. So let's go. Our cinnamon rolls are out of the oven. They look so good. Check out that really, really lovely high spiral. So now we have our cinnamon roll icing. And this is just a combination of vegan butter, powdered sugar, and then I let it kind of sit. So it's almost like a vegan buttercream, but it's a little bit more runny. You can also swap in my vegan cream cheese frosting that I use on my pumpkin cinnamon rolls. That's also lovely. I'm so excited. I wish that you guys could smell the kitchen too right now. And now I think that it's time for us to dive into these. So, do you wanna help me choose which one? I think I kinda wanna go for ham. Who's gonna know that they're vegan either? I mean, could you tell just by looking at them that these are eggless and dairy-free? I don't think so. That is really beautiful, right? So now we're gonna do the test bite because, I mean, obviously I need to take a bite of it. They're freshly baked cinnamon rolls, okay? Oh, wow. That's lovely. That was a big bite. This just tastes like the sweetest, most warm cinnamon roll hug ever. The texture of the bread is so soft, like you never know that there's absolutely no eggs nor dairy in that. Look at the air bubbles of the dough. Like, that's a perfectly baked cinnamon roll. I'm just obsessed. Oh, I'm obsessed. To go bake this recipe, you can find the full recipe link down below in the description box. It's the first line there. Just click the link and then hit the jump to recipe button, and it's the recipe card on the blog post. Yeah, I hope that you love these. I know you're gonna love these cinnamon rolls. If you do, be sure to leave a star rating on the blog because that helps other readers decide whether or not to make these cinnamon rolls. And if you think that they're the best cinnamon rolls, then you definitely want other people to make them as well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification down below as well so that you can be notified when more recipe videos like this come out. And yeah, I'm just so excited for you to be here, and I'm so excited for you to make these cinnamon rolls. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.